This is Sam Vaughn with Sam Sports Report. Dysgraphia on Learning Disability Day. Learning sentences clearly, correctly is a key focus in elementary school year. All young kids, they have some difficulty when it comes to handwriting. This is penmanship, but it would be good. Your children can write inconsistently, disoriented, learning disability they called dysgraphia. The nervous system problem affects fine motor skills. It makes it hard for children to do handwritten assignments. Health insurance can help with testing, and psychologists or any psychologist. Just are not sure what happens with dysgraphia, a brain injury like a stroke, and kids learning. That would be an older age, and kids learning occasionally, usually along with other learning disabilities such as ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, on an ongoing log. It'd be very rare for a stroke to happen like this. Kids with dysgraphia, unclear, irregular, or inconsistent handwriting with different shapes, upper letter, lowercase, print style. They also tend to write and copy things slow, tracing letters and through sand is my thought and what would help. Cramped grip, which may lead to sore hand. Difficult, which I have had sore hand. I've had white things on my hand. Difficulty spacing things out with margins. Poor spatial planning. Frequent erasing. Inconsistency of word letters. Poor spelling. Unusual wrist body movements. Gripping a pencil. My learning disability makes it hard to be spaced. Creative writing tasks are especially hard. The first step, a child pediatrician to rule out other disease difficulties. A licensed psychologist trained diagnosis of dysgraphia. This could be a child's school psychologist, a specialist to give your children academic and reading tests to measure the ability of your motor skills, for instance, to ask to tap finger certain way. Finished work is a possibility, hand and body position, pencil grip, posture, writing process. I used to use my whole hand when gripping a pencil. Treatment: there is no cure for dysgraphia, just like there is no cure for most learning disabilities, and depending on whether they have any learning disabilities or health conditions, medication can be used to treat ADHD. Here's some things you can try. Have a children ruled paper, graph paper, raised lines. Try a pencil grip, other aids of comfort. Let the computer type instead of write. And technical skills. Do not criticize the sloppy handwriting. Praise them for doing the work. Acknowledge the child. Teach them ways to relieve stress. For example, to shake out their hands together quickly. Let them squeeze a stress ball. Improve in coordination. Positive reinforcements refer to opposite learning conditioning, sometimes referred to instrumental conditioning as a method. Learning rewards and punishment for behavior through the operant conditioning. Learning associates is made between a behavior and a consequences. One way you can think about it is if you give your pet a treat during a firework, they will associate it with better results. An IEP or another specialist assistance. These documents detail the children way to help. Some things you might include to ask: short writing assignments, different questions from their classmates, use a computer typewriter instead, copies of class notes, use voice dictation, an option of recording lectures, video or reps reports instead of written assignments, oral instead of written exams. Subscribe for college testing. Also, use a testing center. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam's Sports Report over Dysgraphia.
Dysgraphia is a learning disability characterized by problems with writing. It's a neurological disorder that can affect children or adults. In addition to writing words that are difficult to read, people with dysgraphia tend to use the wrong word for what they're trying to communicate. The cause of dysgraphia isn't always known, though in adults it sometimes follows a traumatic event. Once the condition is diagnosed, you can learn strategies to help overcome some of the challenges it presents in school and in life. Illegible handwriting is a common sign of dysgraphia, but not everyone with messy penmanship has the disorder. It's also possible to have neat handwriting if you have dysgraphia, though it may take you a long time and a lot of effort to write neatly. Some common characteristics of dysgraphia include incorrect spelling and capitalization, mix of cursive and print letters, inappropriate sizing and spacing of letters, difficulty copying words, slow or labored writing, difficulty visualizing words before writing them, unusual body or hand position when writing, tight hold on pen or pencil resulting in hand cramps, watching your hand while you write, saying words aloud while writing, omitting letters and words from sentences. Other effects of dysgraphia. People with dysgraphia often have trouble concentrating on other things while writing. This can make it difficult to take notes during class or a meeting because so much attention is being paid to getting each word down on paper. Other things that are said may be missed. Students with dysgraphia may also be accused of being sloppy or lazy because their handwriting isn't neat. This can affect self-esteem and lead to anxiety, a lack of confidence, and negative attitudes towards school. What causes dysgraphia? If dysgraphia appears in childhood, it's usually the result of a problem with orthographic coding. This is an aspect of working memory that allows you to permanently remember written words and the way your hands or fingers must move to write those words. With dysgraphia, kids or adults have a harder time planning and executing the writing of sentences, words, and even individual letters. It's not that you don't know how to read, spell, or identify letters and words. Instead, your brain has problems processing words and writing. When dysgraphia develops in adults, the cause is usually a stroke or other brain injury. In particular, injury to the brain's left parietal lobe may lead to dysgraphia. You have a right and left parietal lobe in the upper part of your brain. Each is associated with a range of skills, such as reading and writing, as well as sensory processing, including pain, heat, and cold. Who's at increased risk for dysgraphia? Researchers are still learning the reasons why some children have learning disabilities, such as dysgraphia. Learning disabilities often run in families or are related to prenatal development, such as being born prematurely. Children with dysgraphia often have other learning disabilities. For example, having attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, may raise the risk. Trusted source of having dysgraphia. That's because attention is closely linked to both writing and reading abilities. How is dysgraphia diagnosed? Diagnosing dysgraphia often requires a team of experts, including a physician and a licensed psychologist or other mental health professional trained in working with people who have learning disabilities. An occupational therapist, school psychologist, or a special education teacher may also help make the diagnosis. For children, part of the diagnostic process may include an IQ test and an assessment of their academic work. Specific school assignments may also be examined. For adults, examples of written work or written tests administered by a doctor may be evaluated. You will be observed as you write to look for fine motor skills problems. You may be asked to copy words from one source to another to help understand if there are language processing problems.